Hello, welcome to another Rets Pro video. This video tutorial is going to cover our much anticipated shortcode builder with statistics data. And what we're looking at on the screen at the moment is a project where we are trying to actually do a knockoff of some of the features on this Real Estate Webmasters project. And so this is a Real Estate Webmaster website. And what we would like to do is get a JCarousel featured listings. We'd like to get some statistical data in here. And we also need to get some count values. How can we add count values to buttons and things like that? How do we get a polygon drawn and a map embedded with more count values? And how do we get more of these statistical data fields embedded? That's what this video is going to cover really quickly. So I've already got our own project, same exact downtown Austin listings that, we haven't run the database in a while, but so we have the same slider of JCarousel. You see the same kind of stuff going on there. I've already matched using our JCarousel that I just, whatever open source JCarousel that I picked, jQuery, whatever. And I've already got that done. So I've already built a 2/3, 1/3 layout with ours. So we got a 2/3, 1/3 layout. This actually may be in FIS. I believe it is actually in FIS. And so we have our own layout. It's already built in. We have statistical data like you see here, just like that. Count value in the button, count value. We've also got the count value here. We've also got the embedded map. More count value statistics as well down here. And so how do we do all that? That's the question, and that's what this tutorial is going to cover. So first of all, let me open up the page here. I just want to go ahead and this is the actual editing of that page that we're just looking at. And I'm going to give you a quick insight. So what I've got here is I've got a bunch of shortcodes. And these shortcodes are generated with our Shortcode Builder, and I'm going to cover that real quickly. But what we've also done in here is we've got all the statistical stuff. So how do we get all that statistical stuff and put that into this? So I'm not going to go into great detail on how to do this template file because that should be a whole nother video. It would take me probably 20 minutes to make a video on just how I constructed this, but really briefly, I use all of the themes, organic, framework, responsive, column, builder, layout stuff, and then I drop in shortcodes. That's as simple as that, where things need to be. So what are shortcodes and statistical value snippets, and how do they work? Well, here's a web page real quick where problem that we were trying to work with on this little demo test was we needed to be able to do a couple things. I'm going to jump over here really quickly and show you what those couple things were. Okay, so we needed to have a lowest price range and a highest price range. And I think there's actually a square foot range, I should say. I don't see a Okay, so average square foot. So they have average square foot right there, and then they have a lowest and a highest. So what we did with this little demo that I've got left open here is a couple things, and I'm going to go over those really quickly. We wanted to make sure that we could do statistical data based on the polygon, which is also something I want to jump back over here really quickly and show you. All of the data, all the statistical data that we're doing on this project is all done with the polygon parameters, which is really huge if you think about it. So we're not limited by just a listing field like city or subdivision name or any of that actually. We're not limited by any RETS data fields. We're able to actually create a polygon and use the polygon parameters to actually gather the statistical data within that polygon. And that's something that's really huge. We also, unlike the Real Estate Webmaster version, we also have the ability to do median pricing as well, not just averages, which is the high, low divided by the total. We actually have median prices as well. So I'm going to cover that real quickly with you. So we needed to be able to do polygon, and we needed to be able to do the highest, lowest, and the average. One thing that this particular RETS also did not have was a single field that was called price per square foot, which many RETS do offer you price per square foot as a single field, which would have made this process even easier. In this circumstance, they only give us a square foot and then they give us a price. Our plugin has the ability to take that field right there and that field right there and give us the lowest, highest, and average values. So let me just jump in and show you really quickly what we've got going on. Over here, to make it even easier when we do these polygon builds, you'll notice here that I've got the same polygon, but what I've done, instead of taking all of that information and having to use it over and over in my page, to make it cleaner, we also have the ability just to go ahead and just take that and just do an Arielle and all the additional. This is very important to just keep in mind. You must have one polygon, actual polygon value on the page for this Arielle to work, because the Arielle is basically saying, hey, it's already on the page, use that one. So we don't have to copy and paste these huge polygon parameters. Sometimes it's literally the entire page. You have to scroll down below, way down below. There's so much polygon data in there. All right, so that makes that process much cleaner. You can use this for any additional. And just to go back to that other website, you'll see here that I have a polygon coordinates in the top, and then all the rest of them are using the Arielle, and that's given us the advantage of keeping things nice and clean. Okay, so let me jump over and give you a output of what this looks like right here. So we have, just so you can see, just to make this a little actually, yeah, we'll just go ahead and do a preview real quick. Let's just do a preview. Okay, so as you can see, we have our average, we have our high, we have our low. As a matter of fact, I think that high looks to be the same that I saw over there, 1501. So like I said, we haven't updated our database in a while on this project, but you can see that we are matching that as well. So how does all this work? How do you generate this? That's what we're going to cover. And so for the first 7 minutes of this video, we've covered a little bit of an explanation of what we're going to be doing. And now we're going to go ahead and jump in here and use the Shortcode Builder. Above the WYSIWYG editor, we have this button here called Embedded Listings. And so if you pop that open, it's going to give you what we call our Shortcode Builder. And unfortunately, this is going to take a little while to explain everything in great detail, but I'm going to go ahead and painfully do that so that we can get past this part once and for all for everybody going forward. The map tool. Okay, the explanation for the map tool. First of all, you must have the maps module, and you must have geocoded data, and you must have already inserted your Google Maps API key in order to actually have this thing to work. So if you did not buy the maps module or get that included or get your geocoded data and all that included, this does not work unless you have all that. So I just want to point that out first of all. Second of all, if you hide the map, so if you are working with this and you decide to close this, you will not have a map if you generate this without the map being open. The map must be open in order to embed a map. The second thing I want to talk about is you do not have to put the polygon. The polygon tool is something that is optional, and if you don't want to have a polygon on the map, you don't have to have a polygon. But what we recommend is that you if, say for example, you're going to do a polygon for a really small little neighborhood and you need to get down and do this. Let me just show you the fastest way to get your polygon drawn. If I'm going to, say for example, do this crazy layout right here, well, this is the way I started. I just go and I just get my general box like so, and make sure that I've got everything the way I want it, and I get it like that. Now that's not actually very clean yet, but that's the beauty of the way this works. You get your outline first. Now you can actually move these dots exactly the way you want to. And another thing I'll point out is every time you move a dot like this, you'll create two more dots on the left and the right of it. You see, so that gives you the points to be able to continue forever and ever, more and more dots until you are exactly the way you want it. But you do need to know this. You are limited to only one back. That's it. So once you've done that, you're losing your option to go backwards. So a little bit about that. I just wanted to clarify how to use the polygon tool, and it's really cool how you can do this and get it exactly the way you want to. And once you're done, you are ready to go. You just leave it like that. You don't have to touch anything else. So the next step is, that is the polygon parameters for your, whether you're doing a shortcode featured listings embedded map, or whether you're doing a statistical data based on the polygon parameters that you see here. The next step, I'm going to go ahead and hide this out of the way so we have more room to work with. RSS. You do not need to use RSS unless you are doing some custom SEO stuff. And when we do the SEO video for you that you'll want to check on separately, we will be talking about the RSS in that video. And for most of your projects, I don't recommend that you actually activate RSS yes, because it's just really not needed. It's just going to add more to your page. So if you're doing an SEO page where you need to do additional SEO work, that's what the RSS is going to be used for. And like I said, there's another video for that. Custom templates. You're going to notice a lot of custom templates in this drop-down. That's because we've added a lot of custom templates to the custom shortcode template folder, and therefore you see probably twice as many as you're going to see in your drop-down when you look at your initial installation. Some of these things that you're going to probably see in yours that are left over from our projects, previous projects, like the Nevo slideshow, some of these things will not work with your current installation, your current plugin, your current theme, your current whatever. We leave these in here for examples for other developers to look at how we used them before, and they're easily modified to work with whatever your situation may call for, but those will typically need to be tweaked a little bit to match your theme and your, any plugin conflicts, etc. The theme that will work every time is featured template, similar listings, and we include the map template, and we also include an RSS template. But the default template that you see here is actually not a .php extension that you'll notice. The default template is only to be used when you're doing statistical data. And so what we're going to be doing is statistical data in this first one right here. So the second thing I want to point out is, what is sort type? Random, static. Well, to give you an example, if there were 3,000 listings and I just wanted to show 3 randomly, I would just leave that random. I would show 3. I would be a city or area or subdivision or whatever, and it would randomly grab 3 out of 3,000. Every time the page reloaded, it would be 3 different random ones. But if I go down here and I start doing some other things, such as adding order by, and a lot of times most of us will do order by price. So we'll just type in a price, and then we'll go to order descending because we want high to low. Most of the agents want high to low, even though the customers want low to high. The other thing is pagination. If you're going to be doing more than 30 to 50 listings on a page, then you definitely should go up here and change the pagination. Now, some of these numbers that you see in this drop down, actually on the newer version, we actually have like 12, 15, and some other numbers that are in that to give you choices. But in this one, I'm going to go ahead and select 10, and I'm going to show you how we can edit that once we do that. I'm going to go here and I'm going to say 300. Even though I'm not actually using any of this, I'm just going to show you when this is all generated. So we are going to be doing statistical data. So let me go ahead and just pick a city, or better yet, let me do a county. add field. Now I want to point out something. I selected something that would not take long to load. If, for example, I have over 100,000 listings in this particular project site right here, and if I was selecting subdivision or something like address or anything like that, would be crazy. It would take literally 15-20 seconds for this thing to finally generate something here, because of the fact that what it does, it takes all the field values and alphanumeric sorts them and displays them in here for you, so that it makes it easy for you to find what you're looking for. And as you can imagine, in some cases that will actually take quite a while if you have 100,000 listings that actually have to get sorted. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and pick a city. I'm just going to go ahead and pick something that, or I mean, I'm going to pick a county, Como County. That'll be fine. We're going to go ahead and do that. And so what we're going to do next is, since we're doing statistical data, we're going to go ahead and use the use data output. I'm really not going to do a find relation and exclude listings, because that is like 99% of the time never ever used. And I don't want to add any confusion. It's really just something that we would have a custom use for. So the next thing I want to point out is the shortcodes. We're going to leave this for doing statistical data. We always leave this on default. Very important to remember. Default is your statistical data template. We are going to use a, let's do a average value. And so we're going to do a field to use for that. Let's do a price again, so we can just do price. So what ends up happening is that we have selected a county, and we have selected a price. And if we wanted to add something else to this, so maybe we want to do what is the average home price, then the next thing we would want to do is we would want to come over here and we would want to do a property type. And so by doing a property type, you can see here we've got all kinds of options depending on your particular RETs. You would want to do whatever types of property. Now you can see here, by doing this, I'm adding multiple filters. And I'm not just limited to one property type per this row here. I can select multiple. If I wanted to do acreage and farm, if I wanted to just keep on adding high rises, anything that you want to keep adding, you'll see that it's just going to pipe bar separate to limit those values here. And so by doing that, I can do all of the above. I can do acreage, residential, whatever I'm looking for. I can select the county, the city, the subdivision, unlimited. You are not limited by anything other than the actual fields that are mapped into your RETS data. So that's a lot of different, probably multi-millions of combinations of filters that you could create with all that. So what we do there is we just create the criteria, and then we're going to go and select the average value, and that's going to give you that. If I hit generate, it's going to give me a shortcode for that. Okay, so what I wanted to show you next is that if you have, if you decide to do a count value, you know, minimum, maximum, median value, ratios. So we're just going to go ahead, and for this video, we're just going to go ahead and say, let's just do something that would be normal. I don't want to put anything too crazy in there. And I believe that is all we need. Looks like we should be good to go. And let's just go ahead and do a count value, I believe is what we ended up getting there. How many residential, based on the polygon that we actually had, which is, I don't want to do a polygon on that particular layout because that polygon I drew was in the middle of the state somewhere. We're going to do the count value. Like I said, you can change that count pagination, so that the pagination would be different. We don't actually have pagination in this particular one because we're doing the default template, so there won't be any pagination at all. count value doesn't really matter on the count value. I typically will do 0 because this is a statistical output. So we're going to go ahead and just go ahead and hit save. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a name up here, test, so we can see which one this is on the front of the web page. And let's see what the preview looks like. Okay, so the test is 134 was the value for that. And we were looking at property type, residential, and we were doing a count value. So what we were looking for was how many residential listings, since we were using count as the value, how many residential property types, and that was the property type that matches that right there. The county is the county, and we are looking just for how many listings in Como County are residential listings and only residential listings, no other property type. And then when we go look at that, we're going to see that the value that we got was 134. And that takes us back to this right here. The count value that you see right here, I have current listings 147. You'll see that the same count value here. And it's just really just, that's how you do it. You're just going to create, whether you need a count value, a average price value, square foot value, you're just going to enter that criteria into the shortcode builder right here based on whatever it is that you're trying to do, and whether you're doing the map or not. And that's going to get you that type of a layout. So that was a count value. So let me just really quickly jump back in here, and I'm going to go ahead and do basically the same thing, except for this time I'm just going to do some featured listings. So I'm going to select featured listing template, and I'm going to do just let's just do 3, and I'm going to do the same thing on that county. I'm going to type in county. All right, so we're going to take a county, and this time we're going to also, we'll just go ahead and do the same thing with that property type. Select my residential. I could have selected it here, but it was already cached, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And so we're not doing statistical data this time. We're actually doing a regular featured template layout. So you notice that the big difference between this and the statistical is that for statistical data, you leave it on default. For actually embedding featured listings, then you're really going to need to select a template from the template dropdown. So we're going to go ahead again, and I'm going to go ahead and this time I'm going to do price again on here. We're going to go highest to lowest. We're not going to do pagination because I'm only doing 3. And we have a county, we have a property type. Of course, like I said in the earlier part of the video, you can add unlimited fields here and unlimited combinations. But just to go ahead and show you, and there is the opening closing bracket. So we have the correct shortcode, and let's go ahead and hit update. And then let's go check the other page. Okay, so as you see, we have 3 featured listings, all in the Como County area, all residential, whatever they were. The other shortcodes are still listed over here on the side. Now that is an example of the shortcode. Now there is one other thing I'd like to go ahead and jump back over here and talk about really quickly, is the extra options that we are talking about here. So if you do have multiple polygons on the same page, you can use Arielle so that you don't have to have a lot of that polygon going down your page. Now the other thing that I want to talk about is what happens when you want to do a price range. So in that instance, we would have the same thing. We would have gone ahead, and I'm not going to go through the whole process again just to go through this again, but down here under field we would actually select price, select any price, etc. And what that would do is it would give us another, it would look like this. It would be PRICE, and then after residential there would be another pipe bar, because everything goes in order, and there would be, let's just say 1, 2, 3. Okay, would have been the price range. Now if we wanted to say we wanted this $100,000 to $200,000, the way you do that price range is you literally type in what it is that you want right here, 100,000 dash 200,000. I think I got it right there. Yeah, 200,000. That would actually equal a price range, and that is how you would do a price range. So if you ever want to do price ranges, you manually have to go and edit the actual value. Doesn't matter what you select in the builder, but you have to manually change that. There cannot be any commas, dollar signs, periods, or anything else. It has to be the full numeric value separated by a hyphen, a dash, and that will give you a price range. There is one other thing I will go ahead and share with you. If, for example, if I was doing same thing, pop this open, I'm looking for wildcard. For example, if I was coming here and I would select remarks, and let's just see here, I select remarks and I want to add value. What I'm looking for maybe under the agent remarks. Here's another example. I've had this happen many times. Customer asks us, hey, I want to have a page where I'm embedding featured listings for lease option or owner finance or one of those types of fields. And those fields are not listed by the res provider as a actual search field or actual field that was input. They're actually listed as under public remarks. You could even do agent remarks if it was actually part of an agent remarks. You just can't show any of the actual agent's remarks, but you can use it as a filter. So what we have here is we have the ability to have price. So we're just going to do remarks. I'm just going to give you an example of the way that that would actually lay out. And we would come over here and we would have a wildcard. So anywhere in there, we're going to look for lease option. Okay, so we'll wrap that with the wildcard. And now anywhere in the agent's public remarks, etc., where they have lease option as part of their wording, that would bring back that result. So that's how you do wildcard if you ever need wildcard. And if you're going to do multiple wildcards, let me show you how that would work. It's the same thing for county. Anything that becomes a multiple value, you can do it right here by adding in, I'm going to give you an example. You can add it in right here because this is the way it would add in if I was to do this up here. You can add in, I'm going to do 2, and then under county, over here under the value, so the very first 2 values would be Pipe Bar County, and then I'm going to do another one called Austin. Another county would be Austin County. So there would be 2 values would be matched like that, and then the next thing would be residential. As you can see, the way that this actually works is very logical all the way across here. And if you were going to do multiple wildcards, it's the same thing here. You're going to do how many wildcard phrases. So we would do 2 here, and then we would come over here and put a pipe bar after the end of that one. And do another wildcard with a %, and do, we did lease option, we do lease purchase. And again, that would be matching those 2 phrases as wildcards within the remarks. So that's how that would be built out. Remember here, so statistical data is using the default template. If you're using statistical data, it's going to be down here. We have all of these options down here for all of the different types of statistical data fields that you may want to use. And then up here, we do have the default is to be used for statistics, And then if you're going to actually physically put a map in or feature listings of actual, thumbnails and all that, you need to select from one of these. Okay, so that should take care of most of the questions on what all this does, how this works. If you have any other questions, feel free to open up a support ticket or ask on respro.com/forums, and we'll be happy to help you there as well.